This video, we'll be breaking down some of the first steps that we took in placing and building our half-acre tank, including logistics and future plans. First thing we had to decide was the best location to place the tank. One of our goals has been to start working our way back into the property to start utilizing more of the land, so we wanted to place the tank in the lower half. A larger pathway had already been created towards the back right corner when the land was being used for cattle grazing, which is helpful for the transport of some of the larger equipment that's necessary for this project. Also, one of the most important things to keep in mind when placing the tank is the surrounding elevation. Placing the tank in the bottom right corner, we're able to utilize not just direct rainfall, but also the rainfall that will drain down the surrounding slope. Placing the tank in the previously created clearing reduced the work needed for tree removal and the amount of roots that had to be cut through. But we did need to note how close the neighboring land would be. Especially with the tank being placed at the base of a downward slope, it's important to keep in mind subsequent drainage to avoid runoff and potentially entering the neighboring property. Next, before digging the entire outline of the tank, it's important to test the soil's quality. Looking at the clearing, the soil appears to be loose and sandy, which is one of the worst types of soils that you can have when trying to hold water. But digging a few feet deeper, we were able to find clay. After confirming the soil quality just a few feet deeper, we started clearing the land where the tank would be placed. While clearing the land, we want to keep at least one tree on its bank. The fish we'll be putting in the tank requires shade. When we plan on placing structures in the water, having shade from a tree bank can also be helpful. After digging deep enough to find the clay, we were able to start spreading it to create a natural liner. We also plan on adding a chemical liner, specifically Shalex, to act as additional support. Worst case scenario, we can always go back and add a physical liner to the tank if it's unable to hold water. But by using a natural approach, we're able to cut the cost of the project almost in half. On the eastern bank, we'll create a more gradual slope compared to the west, with the goal of creating a landscape for future plants. When digging tanks, the dirt that is removed typically has to be either spread out over a large area or removed entirely. We instead use the dirt to create a large wall across the eastern property line. It's able to help with the drainage concerns that we had as a result of the tank's location. It's also able to create added privacy. Wildlife cameras throughout the property have already helped us better understand some of the animals in the area. We've been able to see large quantities of boars, raccoon, and deer. Building this tank not only helps us increase the amount of wildlife traffic in our area, but also gives us insight into some of the animals that can be tougher to find. Specifically, we've already started to find bobcat tracks within the clay that's been spread out. The next step for the project will be to start introducing water. Texas is currently experiencing a drought, so we're making sure to think of creative solutions on how best to address this. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe so you can follow us through these next steps.